Item number 1.
Item number 1, under original consideration, a resolution authorizing the city to enter into a contract with CARES of New York Incorporated for implementation of the Home ARP Allocation Plan.
Discussed in committee with objection on consent. Item number 2.
Item number 2 for original consideration, a resolution pursuant to General City Law, Sections 81A, requiring all administrative zoning decisions of the administrative officials charged with the enforcement of zoning be filed in the office of the city clerk.
Discussed in committee with objection on consent. Item number 3.
Item number 3 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of 2180 Desmond Avenue for $2,000.
Discussed in committee with objection on consent. Item number 4.
Item number 4 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the settlement of a claim by Walter G. Fritz.
Discussed in committee with objection on consent. Item number 5.
Item number 5 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing settlement of a claim by Christopher Huggins.
Discussed in committee with objection on consent. Item number 6.
Item number 6 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the settlement of a lawsuit by William Hopkins.
Discussed in committee with objection on consent. Item number 7.
Item number 7 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into supplemental agreement number 3 with New York State Department of Transportation for the implementation and funding in the first instance 100% of the federal aid and state Marchicelli program aid eligible costs of a transportation federal aid project and appropriating funds for replacement of Kings Road Bridge over CSX, New York State Department of Transportation, PIN number 1758.95.
Discussed in committee with objection on consent. Item number 8.
Item number 8, under contract and supply, a resolution authorizing an agreement for hot-in-place asphalt recycling pursuant to the county-wide bid to Highway Rehabilitation Corporation.
Discussed in committee with objection and on consent. If there's nothing more to come before the City Council caucus, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Williams. Second by Mr. Mutier. All those in favor? We are adjourned. I'd like to call the City Council meeting to order for Monday, June 26, 2023. And I'd like to call on Senior Pastor Johnson of the Schenectady House of God of Church of Prophecy for the prayer invocation.
Let us pray. Most holy and righteous God, your Son Jesus prayed a prayer that your people may be one as you and the Father are one. Father, I pray that same prayer over the city of Schenectady and every person in this city. Father, I pray that we would be one. Father, that we would be one community, one city, one county, one state, one nation, one people. Father, let this city be a template for the rest of the nation, that the unity and love for humanity that's displayed in this city will travel all across this nation. Father, bless the leadership in this city. And as they minister to your people, let the spirit of oneness begin to flow through our communities, that our sons and our daughters may unite and be one, that our administrators, our police officers, our leadership in every aspect will unite and be one. Father, let the spirit of oneness grow from this place, touch each and every individual. And again, Father, that we may be one city, one community, one county, one state, one people, one people, one people, one nation under God. And Father, again, that we may be one people. We have one Father. Therefore, we're all sisters and brothers. Let us grasp the fact that we are one people, one nation under God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I'd like to call on Councilmember Williams for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If the clerk would please complete the roll call.
Mr. Mutivaran?
Present.
Mr. Toro? Here. Mr. Farley is absent. Mr. Williams?
Present.
Ms. Patrick? Here. Mr. Palomini?
Here.
Ms. Porterfield?
Here. I'd like to ask for the approval of minutes for June 12th, 2023. Moved by Ms. Patrick, second by Mr. Mutivaran. All in favor?
Aye.
The clerk could please read any communications and petitions.
Communications presented to the City Council for Monday, June 26, 2023. Under Official, from Mayor Gary R. McCarthy, a list of appointments dated June 9, 2023. Under General, there were none. And under Petitions, there was a petition of 171 signatures submitted on June 14, 2023, requesting increased funding for repairs of potholes, cracks, and crumbling asphalt on State Street.
I'd like to call any council members for committee reports. This time we'll have privilege of the floor related to the legislative agenda. I have one person signed up to speak. Robert Sanders.
Good evening, Madam President. I think this is truly a good idea. Other cities have done it in the Tri-City area. I believe it's a good idea. I know plenty of contractors that travel throughout the cities and they do their zoning and they just microfiche it through. So it's a good idea. It'll help the city out. And that's basically what I had to say. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you. I have no one else signed up to speak, so I declare the public comment on the legislative agenda closed. This time I ask for approval of the legislative agenda. Moved by Ms. Patrick, second by Mr. Mutivaran. All in favor? Aye. Now we'll have privilege of the floor related to general city business. I have 5 people who are signed up to speak. First person is Ed Lavin, Jr.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Chairwoman Porterfield, and City Council members. I filed an ethics complaint against the 3 judges, mayor, and City Council members on May 31st. It will be heard tomorrow. I believe the mayor has everything to do about my complaint not being published. The mayor knows once my complaint is in print, there must be something done about these 3 blatantly corrupt judges and how small claims court judges do not follow the rules of court or laws of the Constitution whenever they so wish. Again, the mayor is responsible for the enforcement of the law in Schenectady, unless it is his hatchet man, Carl Falatico, breaking the law. Listening to and acting on legitimate complaints by tax-paying residents of Schenectady is also one of the mayor's duties. He refused to meet with me, but heard my complaint at one of these meetings, as did all of you. The mayor falls far short of his oath of office to protect and honor the Constitution of New York and the United States. The mayor, in fact, breaks his oath of office by not acting on my complaint of being deprived of my constitutional rights of due process and a fair hearing. The mayor's only concern is for covering up for the laws broken by Frost, Falatico, and Hoffman. Mr. Mayor, you are the most corrupt mayor the city has ever seen. You cannot be counted on to discipline corrupt judges in City Hall, and you do everything in your power to keep me out of the news so the public is not aware of these 3 corrupt judges and their illegal rulings and judgments. I will be turning your name in for obstruction of justice to the Department of Justice and the FBI. Nothing to worry about. I'm sure they will do nothing, the same they have done for me. I will expose you and these 3 corrupt judges. I will not be leaving without someone being held accountable. You are damn sure going to have to deal with me. See you in the next meeting.
Thank you. Mark and Marge Lacroix.
Good evening, Council. I last spoke here on the 12th, and I believe that I put everything before everybody, what was going on with the housing issue, with the foreclosure on the property, and I believe today that you are acting as honorary judges. You're not in the legislative, but you're honorary judges because you allow things to go on in the city that need to be done. And I ask that on behalf of myself, my mother, my family, and our future, that justice is done. I have gone through the documents that were given to me by corporate counsel, Mr. Golden, and I also had a meeting with him 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday in the morning, and he produced a document that was a signed affidavit stating that a nuisance officer had clearly posted documentation on our property door about the foreclosure proceedings. When I confronted him about having video footage to prove otherwise, it was stated by counsel, it doesn't matter if I have footage, he doesn't have to post at the property. This goes against what is written in the law, New York State Real Property Law 1125. It says that the final step is to post on the property. I also discovered that said affidavit was not in the packet of legal documents that he had given me, stating that that it was posted on the property. It said everything else, but just not that. And I believe that that's unjust, because if you are going to present to a judge, Mark Powers, the Honorable Judge Mark Powers, that you should have all documentation there, not just have a side documentation that you present to me after I told you at the City Council meeting that I have footage. I also have a police report, and also I also have documentation from my cameras and my doorbell camera. The doorbell camera only lasts 60 days, so that footage is long gone from last November. And I have a police report that my house had been broken into, and they stole the security camera DVR box, along with my television and a few other property that was in there. And I found out it was children who had done it, but the police didn't do anything beyond that. But I believe in this city. I've been here 12 years, and I see billboards all over the place of the new Schenectady. Now, I'm not asking for any favors, I'm asking for support, and support in going through the law and seeing that helping somebody who is actual resident, who's actually a taxpayer. We went and got a huge lump sum to pay off taxes on properties that we other have as well as Wendell, and we took it all and gave it in and paid, showing that we are willing to pay, even that on this day, as I spoke to Mr. Golden, we're willing to pay the taxes owed, as long as this closing passes. We're supposed to be on this Friday. But I know that's short time now, it's been 2 weeks have passed, but I just want to know that I can count on the city to make a new Schenectady, to have new precedent that can help people who are actually trying, who are giving their best effort, their best foot forward, trying to build this city up the way that it needs to be. There is a new Schenectady, I see it. I said we used to use filament light bulbs, now we're in LEDs. So let's do new laws, new things that support the people, support residents who are actually trying to do something. And if it has to go through judiciary or legislative ways, let's do it. If it has to go through more talks, please. But I am asking for support in redeeming the property so we can satisfy the city, satisfy ourselves, and continue to be a great part of this city, which is a great city in Schenectady. Thank you.
Thank you. Wayne Harper.
Well, I've got to go in a direction tonight that's not going to be very popular, but who else is going to do it? You know, Gloria Kishton, by the way, Gary, in her article, I think it's Saturday's paper. Yeah, Saturday. Porterfield will manage city better. Well, that's yet to be seen, but I know as a body and as a whole, we could all do better. And we need to start cracking down on this code enforcement stuff. People coming into residential neighborhoods wanting to run their business with dump trailers full of debris, parking, people turning their front lawns into parking lots. It's what breaks down neighborhoods. Read her article. She was right on. She touched on other things. Now, you know, I love the Gazette. I love Mark Mahoney. He won't call. He doesn't return my calls, and I don't blame him. I'm a conservative. They're all liberal Democrats. John DeAugustine, I did talk to John once. Miles Reed, if you've never met him, he's a hoot. You know, that guy is a beaut. Kelly Murray, Paula Opal, I remember her because I had an Opel GT when I was a young guy. And Michelle Wright, I don't remember if I know Michelle or talked to her. But what I want to address tonight is Andrew Waite. Andrew Waite is the new darling of the Gazette. He's had the front page probably 90-some% of the time since he came back to Schenectady. And he wrote, the last front page that I read that he wrote, he happily announced how his father came out at 58 years old. And I thought, how is that a front page story? Why did we need to know all that personal stuff? And he said it almost reading between the lines, almost gleefully and happily that his father came out. So I want to challenge Andrew to write another article, follow-up article, and tell the people in graphic terms what the LGBTQ community engages in. Let these dopes wake up. They think it's just two people of the same sex, I think, holding hands and stealing an innocent kiss. It's a filthy, disgusting lifestyle, and I don't like the fact that it's being shoved down my throat, and they even tell us now we have to celebrate it. I'm never going to celebrate it. I know the Lord. And I didn't know the Lord till 82. But once you know the Lord, you know what you're supposed to be doing. And no one's going to be perfect, but you try to go in a positive direction. So that's what I'd like to see Andrew do. Let's get graphic. Let's educate the people. And one last thing. For you Catholics that'll be going to church on Sunday, ask that priest, if you can even talk to him after the service, if he knows what Sodom and Gomorrah, or the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, if he knows about it, and then ask him to explain it to you. Thank you. Am I 3 minutes up?
They are up.
Okay. Thank you, Marion.
Thank you. Okay. Robert Sanders.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Council President Morfield, members of the council. For many of you who know me and have known me for a long time, I've said one thing. I said it 15 years ago. I'm going to say it today. You cannot legislate morality, okay? And, you know, we've tried doing it from the top on down to City Hall. You cannot do it. People are who they are, and that will never change. Okay, you can come here, you can make laws, you can put, you know, signs out on street, you could do whatever you can do. People are going to do what they're going to do, and that's basically it. I personally don't like things shoved down my throat. I don't like it. You know, I tell my children certain things. I grow my children up a certain way, and that's how that goes. And that's how it is. But I came to speak about, you know, certain things. I forgot my glasses, but one thing I wanted to talk about is right here in the city, you know, I left my house about 6 years ago. I rent right over by, right off McDonald Avenue. My rent's gone up 22% the last 2 years. Now, I know here when you deal with CSCA and you deal with your employees, you don't give them a 22% increase, you know. So I want to know, how is the average person that's on Social Security or collecting SSDI or SSI going to pay this type of increase? Because it's just totally impossible. I said this to the county, and now I'm going to say it to you as legislators. This is just totally, you had all these landlords come up to you and beg. They just cried and whined to you and tell you, I can't stand it when my kids do it, and I really can't stand landlords anymore. You know, they whine to you and whine to you and whine to you. And during COVID, oh, they weren't getting their rent. Now all they're doing is charging and charging and charging. You got to pay $100 extra dollars, Sanders, last year. $75 more, Sanders. When is it going to end? It's either that or I got to move out of the state. Okay, that's just one thing. And then another thing, just men in general, okay? You know, just men. And I've said this, I tried to get around it a little bit. We're actually being treated like a second-class citizen, okay? I mean, we work hard, very hard. We don't have actually the same rights as women anymore, okay? I mean, you know, we're treated differently. Women, there's 70% of all colleges are filled with women, okay, not men. Okay, I could go on and give you statistics. Okay, I spoke to numbers of you about this. And, you know, like, you know, this was Pride Month, right smack in the middle of Father's Day. You know, everything was right smack in the middle of Father's Day. One day, most uncelebrated holiday of the year. Okay, and I could go on. and I could go on. I'm not going to rant about it because I'm sure you've heard about this. But if it was Mother's Day, so help me God, you'd have a line of mothers standing up here of what they did for the city and how much they've done for. But how many fathers have done what? How many men and city workers have taken care of your city? Garbage collectors have done things for your city. You know, are they even noticed? No, they're not.
Your time has expired.
No, I know, it's not what you want to hear. It's really not what you want to hear. May the best person win tomorrow. God bless you both.
Thank you. Molly Tremonti.
Good evening, Council. My name is Molly Tremonti. I'm an entrepreneur. I had a salon on Upper Union Street for 3 years, and I just recently relocated to J Street on the J Street Marketplace. My business is a salon and a vintage clothing store, and I had to file for a certificate of use to operate the vintage clothing store part. I applied for it in April. I was told that it was a 30-day turnover. I did just speak to Andrew. He gave me some guidance and told me that I could email him to get the process going, but it's been about 60 days. I'm having people wanting to come in and shop, and it's really detrimental to my business to get that part of my business open. So I just was looking for some guidance on what the next step for me to do to have that processed. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Colden will speak with you after the meeting. I have no one else signed up to speak, so I declare the public comment of city business closed. This time, any miscellaneous business of the council? Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. We'll take care of that certificate of use tomorrow. We had a great weekend. People are out in the parks, so I want to encourage people to take advantage of the investments that we've made over the years. The swimming pool in Central Park was open. A lot of people got to use it. It's kind of a historical point today. It'll be the last year that pool will be open, so they can go in there for a historical swim, and then next year be in the new swimming pool. But people were out playing baseball, had cricket leagues out there, great activity. Want people to be able to enjoy, again, the investments that we've made over the past years, not only in Central Park, but throughout the park system in the city. And again, tomorrow's primary day. Encourage everyone, if you happen to be a Democrat, to get out and vote. Always enjoy campaigning. Hopefully you've had as much fun as I had, Council President.
Probably more.
That it's a great city. Our future is bright, and I always enjoy meeting and talking to the people within our city. Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome. I'd like to just thank everyone for coming out tonight, and as I said, the mayor said that your situation will be taken care of, Ms. Tremonti, and we'll speak with you again, Mr. about your situation. So, as the mayor said, tomorrow is primary day, so everybody go out and make your choice. Thank you all for your time this evening, and if there's nothing else to come before the council, I ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Mutaverin, second by Ms. Patrick. All those in favor? Aye. Have a good evening.